Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first Velvet Innovation event, an official event of the South Moravian innovation ecosystem. If you are still looking for a seat, there are some seats available on the left side, here near the stage. I'm Martina Pouchla and I will be your host for today. Maybe you are asking yourself why you have been invited here today. This is a question for the one who has invited you. So I would like to ask Petr Claddick to come on stage to welcome you personally.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You see that we really got out of the practice of organizing. Thank you very much that you came. I really wanted personally to thank you that you accepted our invitation. It is a real honor to welcome you here. You were invited because we think or we perceive that you are the key players of an innovation ecosystem we try to orchestrate. Thank you very much. The purpose of this event is to first meet after a long time, to exchange ideas, to inspire ourselves, to talk to each other, just to see, and also to discuss the challenges we face all together. Because we think that there are big challenges, such as climate change, sustainability, etc. And we believe, especially in the JIC, that with business way we can challenge this. We can face these challenges. So that's the main thing. What we think that's important to discuss. Also, I would like to thank our partners. I do not say sponsors because even though you guys who put money into this event, you did not do it as a sponsors. You did it as a partners because you asked for this event, we organize it, and we are really honored that we could do it for you. So thank you very much. And also to all, just enjoy today. Thank you very much once again that you came, and looking forward to see you and to discuss the things. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. So we hope that you are going to enjoy all the remarkable talks that are ahead of us and discussions that will confront social and tech trends from both local and international perspective. Also the insights on business opportunities and unique networking. We kindly ask you to switch off the sound on your mobile phones to enjoy all the event undisturbed. And once you have mobiles in your hands, be sure that you are connected to local Wi-Fi, that is Velvet Innovation. And be also sure that you have downloaded the official application. The application is a very useful tool for you. It is a place where you will find the list of all attendees, speakers, exhibitors, the whole agenda, as well as a place for your comments or personal notes and questions. If you would like to be more involved in the live discussion through the app, go to Agenda, choose a certain part of the program, and there you will see the live discussion button. So go there and you can chat, you can ask a question, you can use poll. The application is also a place where you can send requests to someone who would you like to meet during the coffee break, so feel free to use it. We are very honored that you came and that you found place in your busy September calendar. We also appreciate your patience while communicating with us during the preparation of the event. The date was postponed due to the global pandemic situation. And finally, we have this chance to meet all in person, but still there are some restrictions. We kindly ask you to wear masks during the event. You can take them off while refreshing yourself during the coffee breaks and informal networking. And now, it is my pleasure to welcome two gentlemen on stage. And the first one is the governor of the South Moravia region, Jan Grolich, who will welcome you.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. before I became governor, I had said that I want to do things differently, innovatively. And our region has a lot to build on, and we are proud of our ancestors have made. But we cannot live only on tradition and on what those before us have made. The future is in our hands, but you know it very well. And everybody can see that our region has changed dramatically in the last 20 years. New tech companies have emerged and achieved huge global success. And new economic sectors are emerging here as well and employing thousands of people. And now everything is ready for Big Bang. And this Big Bang can take South Moravia to the next level. But every Big Bang needs a little impulse at the beginning. And I am pretty sure that this Velvet Innovation event is that impulse. Because local people from business and politics and universities are coming up together. But of course, it's not the first meeting of politicians and businessmen, but usually you can see that not only politics, but of course people from business live from their previous success and they are living from the past. But here in this atmosphere you can feel that you are living for the future. And there are a lot of things ahead that we as a society have never seen before. We are struggling with COVID pandemic for 2 years. We have to face up global environmental changes and many other challenges. And we are not able to do it alone, but it is our task. And we can do it together. And I dare to use words which were said through Velvet Revolution in 1988 in our streets and in our squares. Who, if not us? When, if not now? So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, that you are changing and making South Moravia great, not again, but finally. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. And now I would like to welcome another gentleman that has joined us today to open the event, which is Jiří Hlavenka, Regional Councillor responsible for Research and Innovation and Chairman of Innovation Council of South Moravia.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, thank you again for coming here. I know that it's not easy in this super busy month and super busy time. And welcome in our annual conference that, as we see, was actually not annual in last time because we skipped 1 year. It has a reason, and we know the reason why. And this is something I want to stop in my opening speech. So we were used to say it maybe a bit too proudly that we are innovators, we are here to build a better world, we are here for it. But something had happened and we have to, and this is a great opportunity to think about the lessons learned. So what happened, how we will react, what this means for us and what this means for us for the next years. The major lesson I personally learned from is that the current world is vulnerable. It's much more vulnerable than we ever thought. Yeah. We were proud of globalization. We say, oh, this is strong, connected, effective, powerful world, everything just in time, everything works, all systems work. And suddenly we see this is not quite true. And just a few examples. Yeah. You are half or more, most of guys from the business, so you know that better than me what is happening. That, for example, the price for the cargo from Asia, due to some small glitch somewhere, and nobody knows exactly where, the price has grown tenfold. how this could happen. Yeah? And this brings completely new view about how to do business, because if the price for a car grows tenfold, then you will need to refocus and change your business. Yeah? You surely know that the price for the steel, which is still basic material for everything, has grown 2.5-fold and still is growing. Yeah? Where does it end? How that could happen? Yeah? Maybe just another example, which sounds almost anecdotic about this dependence and vulnerability, is that there are materials that has short for API. This is not a computer API, but this is material that is used for most drugs that, not all of us, but most of us, they're daily using. Most of pills we used are built on those basic material. 2 countries in the world have production capacity for 80% of all that material. Without that materials, we cannot produce a single pill. And there are talks, though both countries are for Asia, it is China, India. And now there are talks about so-called weaponizing of this, which sounds very ominous and dangerous. But this is true. Yeah. And last story I heard yesterday was that there is lack of paper. Such a commodity like paper is lack of paper. It's lack of plain paper, lack of cardboard. So the publishers cannot print books. Well, we can live with that for some time, but this is lack of cardboard, so all the e-shops that are delivering packages every day, all those delivery boxes we use the food and pizza, suddenly we will not get a daily pizza, which is tragedy. Yeah. So, something had happened, and task or question for us is how we will cope with that, how we will solve this problem, because it is again up to us innovators to do something with that. It needs, again, a creative thinking, a lot of innovation, how to cope with the situation that maybe is not just a 1 year or 2 year glitch. It could start for many, many years to come. It could evolve in, suddenly this will be like this will be a problem, and so on. And again, it is up to us, innovators who have helped building this global world, to somehow remedy the problems we maybe caused. But that's not all. Yeah? Another thing is that just a few weeks ago or 2 months ago, a heavy tornado struck the South Moravian, something that has never seen before. I'm saying that we did not listen to nature closely, and nature has a punch in our face. Yeah? You did not listen, so here you have a punch. Yeah? In Germany, there was heavy floods, never seen before, yeah, on a scale. So again, this is something that we as an innovators help to build a sustainable world, which is a key topic of the today's conference. So while the sustainability is key topic, I think that the second topic is resilience. So how to be resilient in today's world. We are more vulnerable than we thought. Let's ask ourselves, what is key role of innovators? It was just innovate for the sake of innovation. No, I think that we are here to tackle challenges, to solve the problems. This is something we have to do, so we have to have some responsibility as well. Not only doing business, that is nice to have business, but we need to have some responsibility. And it is also a role for us as politicians to share the responsibility to help the innovators to fulfill their role. Yeah. So, I'm nearing the end. In the following speeches and panels and presentations, my colleagues will go deeper in the specific topics. So this is like opener for them. So I will end my speech here. Once again, I would like to thank you for coming, and wish you to enjoy the conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jiří, for your introductory words. You might be maybe wondering why we all speak English, although we are not native speakers. This is because we believe that our region has slowly but steadily become a more and more cosmopolitan place to be, and it is open to international collaboration. A place that attracts talents from all over the world and is ready to become their home. And we want these people to be part of our innovation community. And we want and need these people to be also part of our discussions, although they have not mastered Czech language yet. To build on this increasing international outlook, we also want to use the Velvet Innovation Conference to bring inspiration from abroad, to let the world know that we are here, we are ready, we are open, and we want to learn from the best. This is why we are very happy that we have also a selection of distinguished international speakers that came here to be with us today. Welcome to all of you. And before I will invite the very first of them to come on stage, I would like to say thank you to the sponsors of this event. They are Honeywell, SAP, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Tescan, Red Hat, CTP, BioVendor, and Ysoft. Thank you very much. Without your support, we would not be able to be here today. And now we have already heard that. Thank you for applause. So the main topic for today is the sustainability as the business opportunity, and I would like to welcome someone who knows a lot about this field. It is our keynote speaker, Christian Boos, the head of SAP New Ventures and Technology Sustainability Engagement. And before he comes onto the stage, he has a video that he wants to share with you.
Sustainability isn't a hashtag or a tagline. It's a lifeline for the future. Future generations, future businesses, the future of our planet. So let's rise up against climate change and eliminate waste. Rise up for society and put equality in place. Rise up as one people for one planet with one vision of zero waste, zero inequality, and zero emissions. Let's rise to the challenge to make the world run better and promise the future. We are chasing zero together.
So that's the introduction with the video, and I would like to add also a few more words about Christian to let you know who he is. Christian combines over 20 years of consulting and business development expertise with a deep understanding of technology and its impact on people. In SAP, he has helped to adapt machine learning capabilities to business processes with the aim of creating intelligent business applications. He was also responsible for SAP's supply chain professional services business and incubated next-generation logistics and supply chain planning solutions. In his current role, he and his team helped companies create sustainable business models with a close collaboration of customers, academia, and government. In his keynote, he's going to tell you what is the role of businesses in creating a more sustainable world. So, Christian, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Ahoy, Bruno. This looks great, to be honest. After 18 months, this is my first business trip, and it feels great being with you. It looks funny, 300 people wearing a mask, like aliens leaving to the next planet, So I'm really happy to be here. Well, while COVID-19 appeared, I think we all learned the last couple of 18 months how to deal with it, We find different strategies, but something did not disappear, So just in front of my doors, I'm born and raised in Heidelberg, so just 15 kilometers from my house in Heidelberg. We had heavy floods, We all have seen the wildfires in Italy, in Greece, wherever. They become the norm. So at the end, we have to deal with COVID, we have to deal with climate, and those are all big problems that probably no one in the world can solve by itself. And this is basically also what I would like to talk today. So basically illustrate what my aspects are to kind of the role of business, the role of corporates, how to kind of drive a better world, a kind of more sustainable world. The good thing is that the sustainability topic is raising in the mind share of many C-levels due to a couple of reasons. And there are government relations, there are kind of EU taxonomies, there's Supply Chain Act, there are investors looking into kind of more sustainable business. We all, as customers, we look in kind of more sustainable products. There will be kind of a strategy maybe for companies to really strive the war for talent with an additional component. Yeah? It's the sustainability, so you need to have a sustainable story to really act and attract talent. But from my point of view, the most important thing for corporates, don't see it as a kind of regulation. This is an opportunity to really come up with new business models, an opportunity to really make business out of it. And I would like to illustrate today 5 aspects. Obviously, there are much more behind, but I would mention what I see as a kind of 5 key pillars important for corporates to look into really jointly thrive sustainability. I would highlight 2 quotes from 2 gentlemen that I highly respect. I also worked close in the past. The one is talking about stakeholder capitalism. So at the end, having corporates working together for kind of thriving a kind of cross-corporate business case to really understand, okay, what's the stake across the company borders. And the other is talking about we need to move from ecosystem into ecosystems. And that's where all love you guys came together here. That's all about, yeah? Hooking together from different roles, from different perspectives, and striving for the good, cross-company, and making a big thing out of it. Okay, so you mentioned that may not work, yeah, but that's proven. So maybe you can flip manually to the next slide, also fine. Okay. Yeah, so at the end, all corporates have a well-established supply chain, or some have, some not, yeah. We all saw during COVID, yeah, okay, what does it mean if I don't have a well-established supply chain? Resilience was just mentioned before. So at the end, sustainability, from my perspective, is a business network topic where corporates need to work together with other corporates inside industry networks. Can be automotive alliance, battery alliance, but even more important, cross-industry alliance to really look and see on things to manage like EU taxonomy or kind of bigger things to really tackle within cross-industry topics. So that's where we kind of very proud to be part of the CEO Alliance. CEO Alliance has been founded by a couple of CEOs across Europe to really tackle and support the Green Deal. There are a couple of topics and a couple of work streams the companies are working, and it's a good sample for stakeholder capitalism. And I would like to illustrate on one project where we're heavily involved in, which is the green hydrogen. So you could ask yourself, a company like SAP dealing with digitalization, what they have to do with hydrogen? I'll tell you in a minute. Yeah? For me, it's a classical chicken-egg game. Yeah? So at the end, end-to-end value chain, who is there first? Is it a truck manufacturer that invests first in his truck? Is it a gas station that invests into gas stations? So who's first? Yeah? Is there a business case for both? Yeah? A classical sample where the problem is even bigger. So it's a kind of value chain problem. It starts with the green energy, of course, solar, water, whatever, yeah? And the kind of power people claim hydrogen has behind, okay? You can convert it with electrolyzers, and then you can store hydrogen. So all of that is a value chain. Most or many of these customers dealing in these verticals are somehow our customers. And what we are working is basically to bring the customers, bring that network also digitally together. So to really allow making digitally business across this value chain, exchanging data in an harmonized way, or maybe cross-company calculating a business case that maybe, again, stakeholder capitalism, a business case gets valid across the companies. And last but not least, topics like really to track the origin of hydrogen. Obviously, green hydrogen only makes sense if it comes from green energy, from solar panels, as well as wind or whatever. And this is important to track across the chain, and therefore we use blockchain capabilities with a couple of these customers that we have shown with the CEO Alliance. So at the end, it's a great sample to kind of hook together and work and deal with the bigger problems across networks. Second thing, and hydrogen is a first sample, is green technology. So you could ask, okay, do we have enough? Should we do more? Should we invest? Should we fund from a government perspective into more green technology? I would say, yes, we can. Yeah? And I think in particular what I saw yesterday, saw some startups. There's a lot of potential in this region. I really loved it, yeah? And had some first ideas how we can hook the things together. Definitely you can. And looking to this guy, Elon Musk, he in February or March initiated a kind of carbon capture competition where he was looking basically for inventors, yeah, maybe for some of the region to go beyond, yeah, maybe hydrogen, to come up with direct air capturing, carbon capturing topics. One sample is this company running the direct air capturing. So basically they capture carbon in the air and put it lifelong in Seoul. Yeah? Obviously, there's, of course, nowadays not a real business case behind, so it will take a while to really form a business behind. But from a kind of innovative power, they will be not able again to do that by themselves. They probably need partners in the network. So important to kind of really engineer and really thrive for additional green technologies. And again, government comes and play here to really look and see how that can be feeded in with grants and support from the government. The third pillar, what I see is quite important, is the circular mindset. Yeah? So circularity for me is key. We also saw that in the video, the zero waste. Yeah? It's basically a lot to do with circularity. And it's not all about plastic recycling. Yeah? It's much more. It's going beyond. It starts with even planning and designing products. Yeah? It goes into manufacturing. Yeah? So only if I plan and design a proper product that it can be remanufactured, then I can enter in a real circularity world. And that again is a broader topic, broader business topic. Okay, so if you click once more, no, we're there. Okay, yeah. So one sample is again a sample from that CEO alliance. Battery life cycle management, of course, scarce resources to produce batteries, yeah, and it's also a circular process, yeah. So at the end, a battery that probably runs in a Tesla to one point in time ends his life cycle, yeah, but could be used maybe in households for different use cases. So therefore, kind of directly when planning a battery, when planning a product, is important to think about, okay, what's the second life cycle of a product, how can it be probably recycled and kind of reshaped, and at the end, very important, what's the overall CO2 footprint, what's the carbon footprint of such a product to really thrive decisions behind. I mean, important one thing to leave maybe as a takeaway, I think many of you know that picture, okay, when coming up with a product design, feasibility, desirability, viability are important aspects. Me being kind of also responsible in SAP looking into new venture technologies for sustainability, I would have a fourth component, yeah, from the very beginning. In any kind of design challenge, we foster the teams to really look into kind of the sustainability aspect. Is it really a product that is doing good, or do we create a problem with it? Great sample where I would like to roll in another video is a company that I got to know when I was Googling or looked at LinkedIn on a Friday or Saturday evening on the couch. Yeah? But okay, that looks interesting. If that works like designed and like shown in the video, that is powerful. And via LinkedIn, I connected myself to the CEO, reached out to him, and meanwhile we are doing some good stuff together. It's about chemical recycling. They produce stuff that you can put in a container. Basically, you put plastic bottles on the left side, on the right-hand side, you get crude oil out of that. And again, end-to-end business thinking out of the crude oil. They can supply companies in the chemical area that produce new granulate for the industry, for example, then producing again sport shoes. Let's roll that video in. You will see the company, the container that I mentioned. Yeah? And the advantage, what they have, they can ship this container directly to locations where the plastic occurs. No need to ship the plastic and collect it and then bring it to Europe. The container is in Nigeria, is in Ghana, where the plastic is collected in landfills, where maybe the plastic is collected in the ocean. Yeah? And then the crude oil is better to transport and brought back into industry as a kind of second life and filling in and feeding in the chemical industry for producing whatever kind of products. Okay, so that's in a kind of nutshell the process. Okay, you have plastic, you collect it. You have the machinery in a black box, plastic in, oil out, and then you bring that oil as a kind of granulate, for example, to the Nikes, to the Reeboks, to the Adidas, yeah, to produce new sports shoes. That's no fake, yeah? So we're really working on that. We have also apps that we developed more from a corporate social responsibility perspective, that we support the plastic pickers in Ghana, Nigeria to really get paid well. Yeah? And we hooked the company Biofabric together with this entry channel. Yeah? So basically we help even Biofabric to get plastic sourced. And then we use also blockchain capability to really track the origin of the plastic. So basically collected in Hawaii, raised in Herzogenaurach, produced in Adidas Turnschuhe. So basically, whenever the Generation Z or whatever buys a new sports shoe, there's a QR code. You can label it, okay, plastic from XYZ. So really tracked from the origin of the plastic source and the recycling area. Okay, coming back to the fourth pillar I would like to mention, for me very important, is accounting standards. Yeah? So are we measuring the right things to really make sustainability big? Yeah? So accounting in particular is a quite old thing. Yeah? You see that, that book. SAP started as a startup, maybe today we would call it, 50 years ago, in the area of finance. So basically we digitalized the ledger. Yeah? That's basically where many of our customers started a journey with us. From my personal point of view, I'm looking also to governments and corporates working together with governments to really shape, okay, what do we need to make sustainability investable. So in other words, only from my perspective, if we make sustainability investable, the train will take off, yeah, or the kind of ship will take off to really make it a bigger thing. So we need new standards, we need new regulations. There is something called VBA, the Value Balance Alliance. Companies like SAP, BASF hooked together to really shape potential new KPIs, how to measure future sustainability, how to bring it also in the P&L. Yeah? So basically, if you build your photovoltaic or your solar panel on the roof as a company, yeah, you can invest, okay, you bring your costs for that in the balance sheet, but what you cannot really create transparency, what does it do, yeah, for the economy? Yeah? So what does it do for the climate, yeah, to really compensate companies what they do for the benefit for the climate to really turn the game in what we measure. Therefore, I really think that's an important thing that government cannot do by themselves. I think it needs to be fostered by corporates. Corporates need to kind of pave the way and work out what we need, yeah? And then government can kind of come up with regulations. The last point of my 5 aspects is well, future of work is a big buzzword. Yeah? I don't want to use it too heavily. I call it sustainable workforce. I think we need to go beyond from a classical human management system where we treat people like resources. We need to move it into human experience management system where we really activate the passion, the kind of capability of the individual to kind of shape freedom, like here, for innovation. And activate the potential of each employee. So, there are different kind of passions, purposes, skills, potentials of the various employees. If we create an environment, and the pulse here and the vibe I really liked also yesterday, that's the right direction from my perspective. There is a way to breathe and kind of develop innovation, and only then we can really make a big thing out of that, and that's important to really bring sustainability forward. And again, thinking out of the box. Yeah? So really thinking beyond. I would like to end with that picture to then also leave, okay, what does it mean? Future of work, sustainable workforce, activating the kind of purpose and the passion of people. Well, when you look on the left-hand side with the kind of truck that is collecting the milk from the farmers, this is called, in the logistics industry, milk run. I implemented it by myself at a company, Fonterra, in New Zealand many years back. Yeah? So they are customers of ours. So you plan the logistics where the milk is collected and then at the end bring to the dairy farm where then yogurt milk is produced. My prediction, and well, not too futuristic, yeah, we already work in that direction, that a similar milk run will also come for hydrogen. Yeah? So imagine energy will be decentralized. So there's photovoltaic, there is windmills in a decentralized way. To one point in time, the electrolyzers will be affordable. The business case will be there. So you convert basically the energy that you have over in summer into hydrogen. You collect the hydrogen like a hydrogen milk run or hydrogen run and bring it into heavy industry. And therefore you power carbon-free the industry. And that's what I mean with kind of activating the passion, maybe looking into certain where specific solutions are already there and mapping it to complete new businesses and new industries that we need to really make the world sustainable. Having said that, I would like to summarize it, 5 aspects, business networks, circular mindset, sustainability, in finance important, future of work, and well, green technology, of course, that I mentioned. And well, I would like to end with a quote I used in Davos. That was my last business trip before I came to Brno, yeah? In February or January 2020, I went to Davos, had a lot of talks with not with guys that make America great again. Yeah, I didn't reach to these guys. Yeah, but I had a lot of talks with people that are working in green technology and in hydrogen, and I really felt the pulse. And from my perspective, what you're setting up here, yeah? Bringing really different entities together, startups with corporates, with partners, is the right thing to do because we can do it, mentality of a startup, yeah, the kind of pace, the flexibility, combined with the power, with the kind of make things connected in the business of corporates. That's a kind of good recipe to really solve the big problems in the world, be it climate, be it zero waste. And therefore, I really like the setup for that. And I wish all of us a great conference, good talks, good to connect, and looking forward to some follow-ups with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you very much for the keynote. And now, let's focus on the reflections on the keynote from local and international perspectives. Christian Boos will come back to the stage after he's ready, and he will be accompanied by 2 other gentlemen. The first one of them is Václav Muchna. He is a co-founder of Ysoft, a company known for a SafeQ platform, which manages 2D and 3D printing. It was founded in 2000 in Brno, and now the company operates in 17 countries. Besides that, Václav established Ysoft Ventures that provides promising startups in Central Europe the capital, resources, and expertise that is needed to accelerate their path to global markets. While focusing on growing the business and exceeding customers' needs, Václav also invests in technology, people, and cultivating an active company culture. So let's welcome Václav on stage. Here is the seat for you, Václav, and here is the seat also for you, Kristen. And the third speaker represents the policymakers. Throughout his career in the European Commission, Peter Drell has dealt with research, innovation, industrial, and environmental policies. Since 2010, he has been at Directorate General Innovation and Research, where he was first responsible for innovation and then for industrial technologies. Following the reorientation of DG Research and Innovation towards sustainability, his competencies have expanded to include industrial R&I agendas and business intelligence, as well as knowledge valorization policies. Unfortunately, Peter Drell cannot be with us here today in person, so this is why we are connecting with him online. And I hope that we are already connected. Peter, do we hear each other?
I hear you very well. Hello.
And we also see you. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Velvet Innovation Conference.
It feels marginalized being in Brussels. I would love to be with you in Brno.
Well, there is a transformational opportunity that is like no other in history. It is a commitment to remake Europe's economy for climate neutrality by 2050. It is the Green Deal as a blueprint that is designed to push all industry sectors towards more sustainable business models. Yet not all people are familiar with the details of this ambition plan. Peter, can you please tell us more about it and briefly introduce the Green Deal and explain what opportunities and supporting tools the Green Deal brings and offers to Czech companies, NGOs, or research institutes?
Yeah, thank you very much. With pleasure, and it fits very well with what Christian was already explaining so brilliantly from the business perspective. From the policy perspective, the Green Deal is a promise of carbon neutrality, the promise of being the first continent to be carbon neutral, the promise to take the lead in that transition. And with that, it brings a drastic change of direction. If you look at the targets we had for reducing greenhouse gas emissions, how they have been strengthened to 55, at least 55% already by 2030. That's just one example, a drastic change of direction. It is for the EU also a constitutional shift. We've put this into the climate law, making it really the binding target for all our actions. And with that, it represents nothing less than the overall direction of travel for EU policy and EU integration. And this is big, because you could have thought, and actually there were some voices saying so when COVID hit last year, that this is no time for the Green Deal transition. But what we've done and agreed together actually is to reinforce this Green Deal transition together with the digital transition, so that the substantial recovery and resilience funds the EU is securing, so altogether 750 billion euros for the Czech Republic, 6 billion euros alone in the next 3 years, is oriented towards the Green Deal transition and the digital transition, and to increase resilience, with very important effects also on the Czech economy. So in one word, the Green Deal is big, it's the overall direction, and it is here to stay. And with that come, I think it would be an illusion to think that everyone will win, because some markets will no longer work. Some value chains will no longer be possible. But with that comes a huge opportunity. And I think we're still underestimating this opportunity because of the scale and speed with which investments will turn into that direction, given that it is the strong overall direction. And with that, costs will come down, probably, that's my personal prediction, faster than we are currently calculating. So given the risks associated with changing markets and new markets, it is very important for everyone to be moving first and fast, and not be then late and having lost market shares. So I can say perhaps later a bit what we do about it, offer as support for universities, for companies, for individuals. But this is how I would like to present the Green Deal here as the major big thing for this decade.
Thank you very much, Peter. And I would like to ask our two other panelists that represent global companies, how do they approach Green Deal? And let's start with Václav, who is the newcomer to this debate.
Thank you, and hello everyone. The way how I see Green Deal is it's a major business opportunity. You have two ways how you can look at it. One is it's just another regulation. Sometimes it is being presented that way. The other way is, as we've already seen and talked today about, there are more and more consumers who are asking for sustainability. The employees in your companies are asking for sustainability. If you're a sustainable company, if you invest in that direction, you are getting competitive advantage on the labor market, as an example. You may be producing same thing. What you see more and more is that if you have two absolutely same products, one is more expensive and is sustainable, more and more people will choose to buy the more expensive one. You see these kinds of behaviors, right? So the demand is growing. It's not an overwhelmingly big demand here in the region, but if you look at the West, the trend is there, and we will copy, like always, we will copy that sort of evolution. And that's why I think it's a business opportunity, and what Green Deal means is that you can get support. If you have ideas in this direction, you can get support how to align with the strategy, and that can help you to bring new products, new services, or to alter your existing products and services and whatever you're doing in that direction. So I think that Green Deal really is an opportunity. Don't look at it as just another EU regulation. Look at it as this is what market wants, this is what your employees want, this is what the consumers want, this is what companies want. If you're in B2B, more and more we see in our business that companies are asking in the supply chain how sustainable you are. So it's an opportunity.
And what about Christian and SAP?
Well, I can only confirm how to really see it as the opportunity, not really as a regulation. It's the biggest thing. What we kind of tackled from the very beginning from sustainability is a kind of double-fold strategy. So we call it the exampler and the enabler. The example role is we as a company, how do we become carbon neutral? How do we implement sustainable measurements? How do we move forward with future of work? How do we inspire our employees to kind of follow the road? The other one, the enabler role, this is of course the even more powerful one, because we have 400,000 customers. So we claim if we enable our customers with parts of our solutions to become kind of more sustainable, this has a bigger lever. And all behind that is very important to really treat that with an open innovation strategy. So no company of the world, and that's what we said from the very beginning, we as SAP, we can not kind of solve and come up with a Green Deal and then solve all these problems by ourselves. Open innovation for me means really collaborating amongst corporates, working with research institutes, working with startups, working with governments, looking to Brussels as well as here in the room, to then really jointly pave the way and getting support once you get stuck. It's also a kind of joint learning phase. So not everything that innovation will come up with will be successful. So there will be pit stops, fail often, fail early, and a kind of a joint failure maybe is more fun than you fail by yourself. And therefore, that's the kind of way we think in a kind of open innovation to really bring experts from different point of views together and tackle the things together.
Václav, you said that the demand is maybe more visible on Western markets and the Czech Republic will copy that. So do you think that the Czech Republic is ready, both practically and in terms of mindset, to the green transformation? Or maybe is South Moravia ready?
Well, though I'm coming from the digital world, I don't think that the answer is binary. I don't think that there is. We're not prepared, and in 120 days, now we are prepared. I think it's a path, it's an ongoing thing, and I think it's more and more. It's not about, are we prepared? It's about, just ask yourself, guys, do you prefer things that are sustainable? How many, raise your hand, how many of you would be willing to pay 10% more for something that's sustainable? I think it answered. Of course, we are in a bubble here, right? This is a bubble. This is not a typical representation of South Moravia citizen. But even if we represent 10% of the population, it's getting there. It's inevitable.
Yes, but we just raised our hands, we didn't pay.
I did. Okay, how many of you really paid? How many of you really bought something more expensive just because it's sustainable? Right.
It looks very
Did
nice.
it convince you now? Are you convinced now?
Okay, I am. What about other markets? Peter and Christian, do you see any differences in the European countries towards the ambition to be green? Peter.
Yes, I think to be clear, there are differences which also can be explained by the different economic structures. No one starts from the same starting point here, but the overall ambition, the end game, I think there we have a very clear consensus, and that is what counts. I do see also a bit of difference between sectors, and it's always difficult to single out, but there was a reference to steel when Jan Grolich did this very interesting introduction here, pointing to the urgency we have, and I entirely agree. So green steel is something which was 5 years ago unthinkable. Now we have also, with a lot of EU support, put on track the transformation of the steel processing towards carbon-free steel, and we'll have this steel production. We'll have this in the next years. So this is a segment which advances very well and has embraced the challenge. I don't see the same level of ambition in, for instance, in the cement industry. But I do see it in the chemical industry and certainly also now in the car industry. So I think overall the level of ambition is shared and compared also not so long ago, 2 years ago, I think there is a massive buy-in from business leaders. As mentioned by Christian, actually, very, very credibly.
Christian, SAP has a lot of customers all around the world, so what do you think?
Well, I would like to confirm what Peter said. I would not say there's any particular market that is heavily front-running or kind of following. When I see it in my kind of day-to-day conversations with customers or in the activities and in my calendar, I really see sustainability is in every meeting. In every board meeting that our board members have with their board levels, sustainability is a topic. It's not a question if, it's more a question how. And it's also across industry. So of course, some industries, they have bigger pressure. So if you imagine your business is drilling oil, and by 2015 is no longer business, of course you are now heavy under pressure. So of course there are industries that feel the pressure more than others. Retail, consumer products industry, they feel heavily the pressure from the consumers. I would say it's more the kind of prioritization and differentiation across industries rather than specific markets.
And what about the companies and how big they are? Is it feasible also for small companies and SMEs? Because we have a lot of people from SMEs here in the audience today and representatives of startups. Is it feasible for those who do not generate enough profit yet to think about sustainability and invest in sustainable business models?
Well, I have an opinion and learnings on that. Well, if you see companies like SAP, we have 100,000 employees. Those are monsters. Yeah? We have customers, of course, that have much more employees. We are no longer a startup. Yeah? So at the end, I would say, as a corporate, we are still somehow flexible and agile. Yeah? But in a corporate, there are processes you stick to. And that's the key advantage of an SME, of a startup, yeah? That you are agile, that you can tackle topics. Yeah? I think, at least in the conversations that I see in events like this, or together with startups, money to get investments seems not to be the issue. So there are investors that are heavily looking into kind of investing into sustainable innovation. It's more the kind of agility and the kind of the power of the idea and the execution. And therefore, startups and SMEs, they can pave the way and, very important, then collaborate together with big corporates to then, at the end, get the power and get things rolled out to an established customer network. So in other words, if there are startups with great solutions, we have a partner-to-partner model to bring and connect partners then to our installed ecosystem, to our installed customers to then make things happen.
Václav, Vysoft is no longer a startup, it is a global company. So what is your opinion on that?
I would complement this view. I think that if you start to think about Green Deal and sustainability in a sense of, okay, so what initiatives am I doing in my company to tackle the challenge? Am I investing in solar panels, in waste management, blah, 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 you name it. Then you are sort of underpinning the regulatory part of the whole thing. And what I'm trying to suggest is take a different approach. Try to think about how you can turn this into your competitive advantage, how you can generate more business. It's not about cost, it's about revenues, how you transform it from the cost point of view, how much more you have to spend to be sustainable, into how much you can earn because you are sustainable. And I think that is the direction how you can really benefit out of it. And then if you see that EU is supporting that, and you may get whatever you call it, subsidy, investment, whatever you call it, that will support that, then these two things marry together, and I think that we will see completely new industries, completely new companies that will emerge because of that. So my view is, don't look at the cost. Try to think about how you can use sustainability to generate more revenues.
Peter, do you want to add something from your side to what was said?
Yeah, thanks. I can only endorse what Václav just said. It's so important to take this perspective because the future markets will be there, and therefore the profits will be there. And then the costs, of course, well, as a startup, you don't have a sunk cost, and so it is not an issue. But if you're an SME and you don't have big profits, the costs, if you're not turning to sustainability, will be, if you don't address it, bigger. So I fully agree with that line, and Václav phrased it very, very clearly.
And I think it will be the role of innovation and new companies to really solve the sustainability issue of this world. About 200 years ago, there was a similar conference to this. It was just a little bit bigger. It was not in Brno, it was in New York. But they discussed sustainability, and they discussed a big problem of back then's world. And the problem was, how do we get horse excrements from the street? Because if it starts to rain, cities like London, Paris, New York, you can't walk in that street because the streets were flooded with horse excrement. You had like this big or even bigger layer of horse excrements. And the smartest brains in the world were trying to tackle this challenge for hundreds of years, and they did not succeed. It was Henry Ford who came with his car who solved it. Okay, it needs to be business, business will solve it.
So Václav, do you also consider sustainability as one of the key features of the startups that you invest in?
Well, I would say that in today's world, when you talk about investing in something that is not sustainable is a ritual suicide. It's not only about small investors like us. It's about you look at the banks. Here in the Czech Republic, I've just recently noticed that the banks warned the industry, we're not going to be lending money to certain industries in whatever 5 years. In Western Europe, you can see that they are not lending money to these industries already for 10 years. So I would say that today it's not a question. What I would say again is the fact that you want to be sustainable, that's given. What would catch or what catches our interest is if you take sustainability as a business opportunity and you try to leverage that to grow your own business. And I don't think we've announced that, but we have the latest investment is along these lines, and it is something that really caught my attention. That things that are around sustainability are really transformed into a machine that employs people, adds value, makes money, whatever you call it.
Okay, so we have the Green Deal, we have the global discussion about sustainability, we have also, let's say, global demand for it, but it will take some time until the Green Deal is implemented into national laws, but there is not much time left to wait, let's say. The sooner we do some specific steps towards more sustainable world, the better for the planet and for the society. So we heard already some examples of initiatives. What do company needs to be able to do some first steps themselves? Like, let's say, SMEs. Can we say some little advice to them? What would you recommend?
And it will be surprising, but I would recommend first start to think how you can transform that into revenues. So try to think, as an example, so we produce hardware also, among many other things, and we produce some small piece of hardware, and it's a commodity, and I would advise in this case to think, okay, there are 3-4 other competitors who produce exactly the same thing, but if we do it more green, if we reuse the plastics, if we figure out how to reuse the plastics, or if we figure out how to significantly decrease the packaging, I'm pretty sure that our customers who buy tens of thousands of these things would be in preference of buying our product compared to the competitors. And what I'm trying to say is that everyone on the first try is talking about how do we improve whatever the specs, right? How do we read more technologies, the first thing is about the technology, but I'm trying to say, no, you can be competitive by other means, but when you do that, you need to be able to sell it. So you have to be vocal about it. You have to sell how much greener, how much more sustainable you are. So that would be the first advice, right? And I intentionally use something that is really, everyone can do that. It's a commodity. You don't need to be a large company to do these things. What you need to do is that you need to think about, okay, how do I market that I am greener than my competitors? So that's the first point. And then on the other side, what you can do is that you can think about, okay, what are our investments? You can incentivize whatever. What we've done in YSL, we have great support for electric mobility as an example, right? So charging for electric cars, if our employees would have electric cars, they can charge in the company. Things like that. But okay, why would you do that? So one thing is that it's a zero local emission, great. So Brno is going to be cleaner. I like that. The other thing is that do we really have clean sources of energy? So what is the real impact? Well, not at this moment, it's this chicken and egg story, but the green energy will come. So that's all right from that standpoint. But what I'm trying to say is that from a commercial standpoint, where I see the value is that even the employees who do not have electric cars are proud when they see 15 chargers in front of the company. And they start to think, maybe we can buy an electric car, as an example, right? So, I guess that everyone is also not only buying more expensive things because they are greener, but everyone is also fighting with not having enough talent, not having enough employees, right? Who in the room has enough employees? Who's not challenged by not having enough talent? Can you raise your hands? Great.
Mr. Governor raised his hand.
Excellent. Right. So what are you doing to attract talent? You're raising salaries. You're doing all different marketing stuff. I mean, just look at around this room, and you see so much innovation that really, in between the lines, aims at attracting talent, presenting the employer how great the work is, how interesting things they do. You can use you know, being green, if you guys are paying more, you also want to work in companies that are green, so you can use it to your advantage to attract more talent.
Christian, what would be your advice? The same.
Fully underpin what Václav said. So I think it's difficult to add any additional. What I would like to add is the kind of well, think big and start somewhere. So kind of really create a vision, but then also start the kind of train taking off. That's important, yeah, and really based on the vision, attract and inspire the people. Really create a sample where people and the employees, the existing employees, the staff can stick to it, support to it, and then attract further talent, and then of course execute that first kind of product, first kind of proof of concept. Look, okay, is there a revenue stream? Look, is there a business model? And well, I come back to the kind of open innovation that is again important. Whether or not you be a startup, you be a SME or corporate, important to not think about you walk this alone. Impossible, yeah, from my perspective. You need to kind of start with the ecosystem and look and see who can I take on board to really shape the business model. What kind of business model does it take to take off? The sample what I had before on the kind of circular economy. When you take that in circular manufacturing, if you currently manufacture linear, you produce a product, you sell it, the customer uses it, you throw it away, done deal. If you think circular manufacturing, it's different. You need to work with your suppliers, with your partners in a different way, that you really collect the products, that you really can reproduce. So it's important from the very beginning, also as an SME, to think in these new business models and really activate and do that then with your partners in that model.
And the last answer of this panel discussion, Peter, where would you navigate officers responsible for sustainability in companies to seek for help, maybe from the European Union, besides setting the right direction, if there is any help?
Thanks a lot for this question. Let me start by saying that there is no shortage of support programs. So it's more a question of how to access it. And perhaps let's start, my first advice be, it's a question of awareness. Awareness that Europe is serious and is putting all its programs towards these transitions, the green and the digital transition. So you need to be aware of that. And then I think it's very important to get rid of one myth that EU funding is not for you, it's too bureaucratic and too heavy in its management. That's simply wrong. We are fast, we are very competitive, but we are fast and good, and we will team you up with very good people. Also, if you're an individual company, a startup, we have a new funding scheme exactly for super ambitious ideas for breakthrough related to the Green Deal or to other challenges for our economies and societies. So get rid of this myth. And then I think the third element is really to be clear what you need and what you want. What is your issue? Is it a longer term project? Do you need some longer term, medium term research? Do you need market entry? Do you need connections? So you need to be quite clear. Can you deal with a loan, big investment, or do you need full subsidy? It's very clear that you are very well aware and clear about your needs. And then I think there are many channels. So if it's about research funding, I would recommend that you first look a bit on the Horizon participant portal, but then contact the national contact point. So this is really an institution which is not so far away from you, and spend a bit of time with them to go through your ideas, and they will lead you. They're very competent colleagues, I know them. They will lead you to the right path to get quickly what you need. And perhaps if I can end with a personal comment. I'm responsible for these collaborative projects where we invest in transition technologies. Just to give one example, I very much like Christian's Milk Road, Hydrogen Road example. It's quite visionary, and I would like to see that. It depends a lot on whether the electrolysis will be cheaper, and this depends on catalysis. We're doing a lot of investments in these new catalysts. So if you are able to make a contribution there and you want to be part of one of our projects, look which of a likely strong partner will lead one of these projects, and then contact this partner directly so that you can add your own value and be part of a bigger project. That would be my personal advice. But in short, awareness, don't think what is often said that we are too bureaucratic. It's not correct. And contact the national contact point.
Thank you very much, Peter. So think big and start somewhere, and there is also help available for you. So a round of applause for all our speakers, Václav, Christian, and Peter.